You've probably rewritten the same post 3 times, changed the hook, tweaked the tone, tried to sound more you. It's probably not your hooks, your editing, or your consistency. If your content isn't getting attention, it's your voice, but not in the way you think. Because voice isn't something you find, it's something you build over time, repeating the same way of thinking, until you become recognized for your stance on a specific topic. In today's video, we're talking about voice in content. We cover what it is, how you can find yours, and also offer you industry insights. We're trying to help you understand it. Voice in content isn't what you think. It's how to speak and show up all the time, providing your perspective. Look for the free download in the description. Today's video is in an explainer format from Notebook LLM, where I uploaded my blog and had it converted.
Have you ever found yourself just staring at a blank screen? Or, maybe rewriting the exact same social media post or blog article 5, 6, or 7 times? You try to sound a bit more confident. Then you rewrite it to sound more casual. Then you try to just sound, authentic and like yourself, hoping it finally clicks. Maybe you even throw in a few trendy emojis just to show you're relatable. But deep down, the content still feels off. It kind of feels unoriginal. It doesn't really land with your audience. Well, I want to tell you something that might be a tough pill to swallow, but honestly, it's highly liberating. You don't have a voice problem. You have a thinking problem, and it's showing up in your content. Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where our core mission is to completely shatter the myth of brand voice as you probably know it. Because for so long, we've been told that voice is just about your personality, your quirks, or whether you use emojis or serious corporate speak. But today, we're going to look at the research and the real case studies that prove why just trying to sound like yourself isn't working at all. And instead, we'll see how you can actually engineer a real, scalable content system. Here's our roadmap for today. 1. The brand voice illusion. 2. Redefining content voice. 3. The HubSpot voice engine. 4. Illuminate labs and trust. And 5. Engineering your content voice. Let's jump right into section 1, the brand voice illusion. So many business owners and creators falsely believe their content feels generic simply because it lacks polish or some unique, quirky personality. They think, if I just add more flair, people will listen. But honestly, that's an illusion. The data is super clear on this. 17%. According to the Content Marketing Institute, 17% of B2B marketers specifically blame an inconsistent brand voice as a major reason why their content strategies fail completely. So this isn't just some minor creative block. It's a massive, systemic issue that is actively costing businesses attention and revenue. So why does it actually happen? Well, generic content usually comes from one of 3 places. First, you start from scratch every single day, just staring at a blank page, waiting for inspiration to strike. Second, you chase trends, adopting whatever format the algorithm supposedly wants today. Or third, you write without a clear, structured approach. When you do these things, every single post becomes a brand new, disjointed attempt. You aren't building a compounding library of cohesive thoughts, right? You're essentially just throwing random darts at a board. As Arjun Basu famously noted, without strategy, content is just stuff, and the world absolutely has enough stuff. Moving right along to section 2, redefining content voice. It's really time for a massive paradigm shift in how we approach content creation. We need to stop thinking like decorators and start thinking like engineers. So what actually is voice? I'll let that question linger for a second, because most creators get the answer to this completely wrong. They think of it as a writing style, but that completely, totally misses the mark. And this brilliantly illustrates the disconnect. The big myth out there is that voice is your writing style, your tone, or your bubbly personality. But those are literally just surface-level symptoms. The reality, voice is actually your thinking patterns. It's how you diagnose problems, and it's the structure you use to explain them. You see, 2 people can talk about the exact same topic and sound entirely different. And not because of the vocabulary they use. It's because one of them is using a structured pattern to explain their thought process, while the other is kind of just blurting out whatever comes to mind. Let's lock in on a new definition here. Voice is the consistent way that you naturally diagnose problems, challenge assumptions, and explain solutions over time. It is the core pattern behind the way you put your content together. It is absolutely not just the words you use. Voice isn't a decoration, it isn't just personality filler, it's a repeated framework. So, a strong content voice essentially has 3 main jobs. Step 1, spot the real problem.
While most people just describe the symptoms, a strong voice names the root cause. Step 2, reframe assumptions. Now, this is where you become truly memorable. You say, hey, you think your problem is X, but it's actually Y. That is what makes people stop scrolling. And step 3, provide a clear path forward. A good voice always gives actionable advice backed by a recognizable structure. All right, section 3, the HubSpot voice engine. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how few companies have operationalized voice as a system better than HubSpot. They are the ultimate proof of turning a rigid framework into a scalable empire. Instead of publishing random marketing advice with a fun tone, they built a repeatable machine. At the diagnostic layer, their foundational belief was simply, outbound marketing is broken. At the reframe layer, it was, inbound attracts, it doesn't interrupt. And finally, the structure layer. Every single blog post, guide, and course followed this exact same logic. Their massive organic traffic growth wasn't born from a clever tone of voice. No way. It was born from a rigid, repeatable thinking framework. They didn't find their voice, they engineered it. Every piece of content thought the exact same way.
Next up, section 4, illuminate labs and trust. Now, you might be thinking, sure, that works for B2B software, but this framework works even in highly skeptical, low-trust markets. The supplement industry, for instance, is notoriously crowded and frankly full of snake oil. So how did Illuminate Labs build their voice? They anchored everything to one core diagnostic. The supplement industry lacks transparency. They didn't just try to sound trustworthy using earnest language. Instead, they actually built trust by consistently publishing third-party testing data and educating consumers on ingredient quality. They repeated this exact same trust-first diagnostic across every single piece of content. And that is exactly how you cut through the noise.
Which brings us to section 5, engineering your content voice.
Okay, so we've seen the theory and the case studies. Now let's talk about the actionable playbook you need to engineer your own content engine. And hey, if you need a little motivation to build this system, just look at this stat from funnel.io. Brands with high consistency are 3.5 times more likely to achieve strong brand recall compared to inconsistent ones. 3.5 times. And remember, consistency isn't just about posting every day. It's about consistency of thinking.
As content expert Ann Hamley so brilliantly puts it, be specific enough to be believable and universal enough to be relevant. This perfectly bridges the gap. Building a rigid, structured thinking system doesn't make you a robot. Actually, it's the exact opposite. Once you have the structure, you can layer on your humor, your personality, or your quirks. Think of it like taking the stage. You can play any character you want, but once you pick the persona and the underlying worldview, you've got to stick with it.
Let's look at exactly how this transforms a piece of content on the topic of consistency. A generic post says, be consistent, show up every day, stay disciplined. It's just a symptom masked in borrowed cheerleader motivation. But compare that to a structured post. Consistency is a system issue, not a motivation issue. If your content depends on how you feel that day, it's already unstable. It's the exact same topic, but the structured side has a real point of view. It reframes the assumption, it relies on a thought process, not just fancy wording. So the crucial point is this. To build your voice, start by asking yourself, how do I naturally explain this problem? Not how do I sound more interesting, but how do I actually think about this? Then, consistently diagnose and reframe problems the exact same way every time. Choose your persona and stick to it. Because at the end of the day, authenticity only becomes recognizable when it is organized into repeatable patterns. The difference between you and the creators you admire isn't volume, it's structure. If you want to fix your content immediately, you need to stop waking up and asking the internet, what should I post today? Instead, you need to look at your industry and ask yourself, how do I consistently break down this problem? Because once you engineer that answer, content creation completely stops being a daily guessing game and starts becoming an unstoppable system. Have you ever found...
We hope you found this video useful. If you did, consider liking the video and drop a comment. Remember to look in the description for the free Voice Clarity Workbook. It'll help you audit your voice, create your own speech patterns, and give you the means to apply the same speaking style to everything you say. Growing your brand and authority in your space over time. Have a good one. See you in the next video.